Hello and welcome to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament broadcast. This is Nightcat and I will be bringing you today's broadcast, and it is finally the time that we have all been waiting for. It is time for the elimination bracket to be started, or well, the casting of it to be started, I should say. So what we are looking at here is the bracket and how everything shook out, came out, turned out, however you want to phrase it, after the round robin. And so we have Stardust starting off, or well, not starting off, but taking the first place seed, and then we have Monster taking second. Third place was Banana Brain, fourth place Beta Star, fifth place Halpon, sixth place Dragon, seventh place Ironbot rather, Crazy OP taking 8th, Xiaoyi Cog 2019 taking 9th, 10th place going to Purple Wave, 11th going to Chris Cokes, 12th going to Steam Hammer, 13th going to, and it's taking me a second because I'm reading it from the bracket, which is on screen right now, so I'm like, where's 13th? It's like, it's not, you know, as you can see in numerical order, so it's taking me a moment to find the names. 13 is Mcrave Z, 14 is Willie T, 15th was Microwave, and 16th, last but not least, Mad Mix P. So our first match today is going to feature Stardust versus Mad Mix P. I'm very excited to jump into this. I'm going to try and do this round one in two parts, so hopefully part one will turn out to be Stardust, Mad Mix P, Crazy OP, Xiaoyi, Beta Star, Mcrave Z, and Halpon Steam Hammer, and then the next part will be the other four matchups. So let's go ahead and get this party started, and let's get Stardust versus Mad Mix P rolling up here. Starting off with our first game here of the elimination bracket, we have Stardust spawning as the purple Protoss up at the top left of Fighting Spirit, and Mad Mix P spawning as the red Protoss over in the top right. And the elimination phase of the matchups are best of 5. So instead of being like a best of 1 or, you know, in the round robin where each AI had 2 games, we are going to be looking at least 3 games per AI or per matchup here. And so our starting matchup is PvP, and it looks like both AIs are going for in base Pylon, though we do have a split happening here. We have a gateway coming down for Stardust and a forge in the main, along with a gateway now for Mad Mix P. So Stardust going to be able to get those units out a little bit faster, but Mad Mix P does have the forge, could throw down some cannons and sort of just shore up. There's the first cannon, this ramp here. So the scout for Stardust coming up here now. Gonna get the last scout on Mad Mix P, but we'll see what's up. It actually might just get in. Nope, doesn't quite get past the cannon. That first cannon finishing just in time, but Stardust does pretty much see everything since it's all right here at the ramp on that first pylon. And okay, there's another pylon for Mad Mix P. It's like Mad Mix P not getting more pylons. I was a little bit concerned there, but Stardust going ahead, getting its natural, getting its assimilator and the core, so very good moves from Stardust at this point. After seeing what Mad Mix P is doing, this is a very heavy investment in cannons here. That could be a lot. That's a lot of money that could be gateways. I mean, a cannon is the same cost as a gateway, but it's a one-time investment, right? Because you spend the 150, you get a cannon, you can't get any more out of that cannon other than, you know, the defensive structure that it is. Scout in the base of Stardust here, being forced out by the units, a couple of zealots and Dragoon, I believe, yep, from Stardust, just the 2-1 there. And now Stardust going ahead and pushing up. Now I don't think it's going to be able to push into the 4 cannons up at the top of a ramp, but it is going to keep Mad Mix P. I'm going to try and move this again because it's kind of going over the thing a little bit there. We do have a small engagement here as I'm fiddling with the UI. There we go. That's still going over, but I guess it's almost in the exact same place. A little bit better, though. But a couple of zealots, so one zealot for Stardust does go down, but also a zealot for Mad Max P is going to fall, and more cannons being put down, and now a Stargate coming up. Is this going to be like an attempt at sort of a one-base carrier play? I don't think that's going to go too well against Stardust, who gets a massive amount of Dragoons, but it'll be something. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Observatory coming down now for Stardust. So, Stardust army will be looking good. I heard a zealot die somewhere. Not sure where that happened. It might have just got picked off by a cannon there. And then a Dragoon's going to fall as well. Stardust's going to bleed a few units, but I'm not too worried about it here. And mainly that bleeding is because, you know, it's going to poke in, see the cannons, and then back out. Take damage from those cannons unnecessarily. When it could just sit back and wait, right? I mean, like you can kind of figure that defensive structures probably aren't going to go away unless you kill them, at least in a one-on-one. And actually, we see a Corsair come out, was that? Yeah, Corsair came out here. So I thought maybe we were going to, like, see cannons or something. Looks like a Templar Archive, so we'll probably see some Templar. I know Mad Max P kind of tries to do a mix of, like, all of the units. Well, maybe not, like, every unit, but, like, it does a good mix army, right? It doesn't necessarily mass what's the strongest in a matchup. It will kind of go for that sort of mix. And now Mad Max P trying to throw down, it looks like a pylon in the natural. Might just be running low on building space, so there is some section here. It looks like it's kind of built its pylons spaced out to give maximum side coverage, as opposed to... And we do have a couple of Dark Templar, actually, from that Templar Archives, but there's already an Observer out. I mean, we are, like, 9 minutes into the game, so it's going to be a little bit late for those Dark Templar to really do anything here. And Mad Max P is definitely on a clock right now, needs to expand, but Stardust already 5 bases going. So I don't know that Mad Max P can really do much of anything, and Stardust could almost just start, like, just macro hard and A move up this ramp, and you'll bust it eventually, with this only being at 1 base, right? So Dark Templar is mixing with the army, but then as soon as it's seen by an observer, which actually, where is the observer? I don't actually see the observer, so I'm not sure how that Dark Templar died. It was probably like over... Okay, so I just saw it flying from the left. And now here, I think at just about max out, Stardust is just plowing into here. And unfortunately, Mad Max P's army is just sort of hanging back instead of engaging. And yeah, it really could have made use of this ramp. I mean, it has Templar. Does it have Storm, though? It doesn't look like it managed to get Storm. It was very gas-starved just being on the one assimilator, and so with this, I think Mad Max P is going to claim the first victory in the elimination tournament here. Well, the first map, I should say, not necessarily victory. Victory might imply the match. There are still... It is a best of 5, like I said, so at least 2 more matches, or games to go in this matchup. Pretty nice, strong win there by Stardust. Mad Max P trying to turtle up on 1 base. Maybe if it had turtled up on 2 bases, I would have liked that play a bit more, but Mad Max P giving the GG to Stardust here. Let's go ahead and get into our Game 2. So Game 2 sees us spawning on Circuit Breakers, with Stardust spawning as the white Protoss down at the bottom right. Mad Max P spawning as the red Protoss up at the top left. And so Circuit Breakers, very similar to Fighting Spirit and sort of like style, I guess you could say, of the map, where you've got the 4 starting positions in the corners, you've got high ground to low ground natural, and then the third is the difference here, because it's not a gas third, it's a mineral only third. It's open on low ground and not like on a little high ground island, but we'll see if we get similar approaches. This pylon not near the ramp, so I'm thinking Mad Max P gonna go ahead and try a different build this time. Stardust looking to do the same, I think, here, getting that Stargate, or not Stargate, sorry, that gateway right by the Nexus looks like it's checking for any sort of proxies. I imagine that's looking for like if there's an in-base cannon rush happening, which I think there is a little bit of in the AI scene, a little bit of cheeky play like that. It looks like, yeah, MadMixP going for a quick expansion here. Actually, I'm not sure. That might have been a 14 Nexus. Just looking at the supplies right now. Or it might have even been a 12. Actually, no, you know what? I think 12 Nexus is probably what it was, so... Oh, actually, a double expand from MadMixP. Very, very greedy play here, but if it's allowed to get away with it, could really pay off. But there's already a Zealot marching across the map. It's going to take a lot of worker micro here. Maybe not going to get away with it. And here, the first Zealot makes contact at the end. A third triple expand before even throwing down a gateway. This is some crazy greed I don't think is going to work out for MadMixP. I feel like if it had just gone for the double upgrade and got a gateway, sure, this one Zealot's going to put some damage on the Nexus, but you're probably able to clear it before that, or before the Nexus would fall. But now, I don't know that that first gateway and or Zealot are going to really finish in time, and now we have a Dragoon out. And yeah, I think this is just going to spell the end here for MadMixP. There is a Forge up, though. But yeah, I think just a little bit too greedy with the build here. Against, I mean, some of the AIs are rather passive. And so, like, you can get away with, like, a greedy build like this because the AI is not gonna, you know, come at you with an attack for a while, even if you're being greedy. But yeah, against an AI like Stardust, I don't quite think this level of greed is going to fly. Like I said, if it were just the 2 expansions, I think maybe there was a chance. But yeah, with the minerals that were banked up and put into this one here, I think this is going to go. I like the concept, just not quite executed well enough to stand up against the #1 seed Stardust. And now with the main gone, there is this little base here, but it is a mineral only. It's got a few cannons, but I think the army for Stardust is just large enough to A-move in here. Yeah, we see the cannons quickly falling. And then all that's left is this left base. And even the one probe has given... The other 2 are mining, but this probe is just like, I want to build something. Okay, I guess I'll go mine. Maybe we can do something. I don't think Stardust knows. Okay, yeah, it does seem like Stardust knows of this space. Gonna go ahead and dive in here. And we'll pretty decisively take game 2, punishing MadMixP for that very greedy build. And we'll go ahead and get into our 3rd game. And game 3 of this series has us with MadMixP spawning as the Orange Protoss, fighting to stay in this tournament. Well, to stay in the winner's bracket, as there is the loser's bracket. Spawning as the Orange Protoss again on Icarus. Up at the, like, top left base. I guess that's like the 11 o'clock base, you'd call it, maybe. But we also have Stardust here spawning as the blue Protoss over in the mid left. So Icarus 4-player map where the spawn positions are not in the corners. We do have the scouting probe going out for Stardust, the pylon scout. Now the gateway coming down. Looks like MadMixP might be trying that greedy build again, and I'm not... I hope it stops at 2 Nexus. We will see. Here comes the natural Nexus. It did not work in the last game. Like I said, I think it was just kind of over greedy. Like a double expand maybe could have worked because it could have got that gateway in its first Zealot a little bit faster. Where it's going to struggle, though, is Stardust is going to get those Dragoons out pretty quick. And now this has been scouted. And we've got the probe here coming out. Gonna go ahead and take this top right. The question is, you know, is this where they're gonna stop, or are they gonna do the same thing where they're gonna go ahead and get yet another? There's already a zealot out somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yep, it's already hitting there, and yet another nexus is started. Gateway not even complete yet. Gateway's on the way for Stardust. First Dragoon is started. And so yeah, I think we are, unfortunately for MadMixP, going to see like a repeat of Game 2 here. Forge finishes, but no cannons thrown down yet. And yeah, that first Dragoon goes ahead and reaches the natural here. And I think Stardust is going to be able to clean this up. But the bases are a little bit more spread out, like the third and the fourth, so maybe something can be done. But yeah, 1 Zealot against 3 Dragoons and 1 Zealot. 4 Dragoons and 1 Zealot. This is just going to keep growing. Stardust has the gateways just keep pumping units, going ahead and taking the natural as well. And now, with the natural destroyed, we've got the army marching up into the main here. Just 2 cannons, bit off place as well, but not going to be able to stop this army from just marching up here. Probe's trying to pull, but there's just too much army here for MadMixP to be able to handle. And with that, I think the #1 seed in the tournament is most likely going to be continuing on in the winner's bracket, with MadMixP dropping down into loser's bracket. And there's still 2 other bases here, so MadMixP not out of it quite yet, but realistically, I don't see MadMixP coming back from this in time. Actually, a cybernetics core being built before the gateways fall, just in time. But now the army of Stardust had already found this base, going to go ahead and charge up, take out these 3 cannons, and just kind of march in here, clean things up. Meanwhile, back home, you know, Stardust going ahead, continuing to tech, or actually just expand rather. So taking their third, I thought there was going to be a tech building, but when I looked in the main, there was not. And then yeah, just going to come down here, find the other base here. Cannon being or no, sorry, second gateway. I thought it was good. Actually, not finding the base. Clears those buildings, but then is going to go ahead and check here. Cannons being set up on the ramp, which aren't going to protect this natural. And actually, the army now not quite sure where this last base is. Might take a minute to find it. While continuing to expand behind this here and just sort of grow that gateway count. We do have the robotics facility coming down now. Upgrades on the way. And now it looks like Stardust making the march to the last base here. Manages to find it. And we'll go ahead and make a quick cleanup here of the remaining structures, solidifying the 3-0 win against MadMixP. And Stardust will move on to the round 2 of the winner's bracket of the elimination phase, while MadMixP will drop down to round 1 of the loser's bracket. Diving into game 1 of this matchup, our second matchup of the day, we have Crazy OP, the number 8 seed, spawning as the green Protoss up at the top of Destination. going up against Xiaoyi Cog 2019, the number 9 seed. So a little bit of TVP here. And it looks like we'll see an in-base pylon from Crazy OP here, with the probe going ahead and scouting out after the pylon. And Crazy OP, if I remember correctly, sometimes does like to do that sort of like pylon cannon front here to force the opponent to have to try and bust that. So we'll see if that's what they're going to do here. It looks like they do stop, and yeah, so there's a pylon coming down here, so I think we will see something similar. And it's going to be something tricky for AIs to handle. So we'll see how Xiaoyi does. Xiaoyi does do, I believe, like cannon. So, and oh, it actually is going to already send a worker to attack this. The probe is not going to defend. Oh wait, no, okay, it is going to defend now, but this first cannon at least will fall. Maybe needs to send a few more workers if they're gonna sort of do this advanced attack there. Or well, not advanced, but like early attack. Scout is going around, has taken a little bit of damage, but does see, you know, what's going on there. Gonna lose a... Oh, actually chasing the probe here. Lost another SCV there. It looks like... suiciding just a couple workers at SCVs at a time. Not really what you want to do here, but they are chasing this worker around with this probe. But now there's going to be 2. And so I think cannon production is going to be able to continue here, unfortunately. This Marine is really going after that. Loses sight of that probe and going to go ahead, I think, up into the main here. Might cause some issues for Crazy OP. Meanwhile, just throwing one Marine at a time here. Does have the gas and has a Vulture. Needs to get a machine shop, though, to deal with these cannons. As these cannons should be able to handle with what Xiaoyi has right now. This Marine is causing some problems. Looks like it's taken a little bit of damage. I'm not sure if that was from a cannon or if that was from one of these probes here. Going ahead and chasing that probe pretty far. Nice little arc there on the cannons. I really like the way that works and looks out. Really makes this bridge not something that you want to push out across, really. So keeps throwing one Marine at a time. Nothing mining gas right now, which is a really big issue at just 28 gas. Like I said, you want to get that machine shop. You want to get that siege mode to really break this cannon line here, but Crazy OP just continuing along its path here, has the 2 gateways. There's still the Marine here causing problems, not producing anything out of either gateway just yet. Feels like one Zealot would be able to clean up this Marine or at least chase it off. But really the worker count for Crazy OP, 23 still, well 22 now, still very good. And the probe carrying minerals in style, or styling on that Marine, carrying some minerals does take it out. So looks like Xiaoyi, being held up by the cans here, did get the machine shop here, so can get tanks, but still nothing on gas right now, and the worker count super low for Xiaoyi, only 12. Now trying to get a bunker down here. Does get the bunker, but doesn't load the Marines into it, and really there's nothing for that bunker to defend at the moment. Looks like we have a couple of cannons down at the main, one at the natural. Just trying to make sure that if anything does slip out, like a Wraith or something, still protected for the most part. Now going ahead, getting that second gas, and here comes the Citadel of Adun, so it looks like it's going to be that Dark Templar follow-up, which I'm a little bit worried about. The Academy is done, but again, nothing mining gas. It only takes 50 gas, though, so something could be a worker could be put on pretty quick. An engineering bay coming down, though, that could finish in time to throw down some turrets and protect against the Dark Templar, so I'm a bit less worried than I was just a few moments ago. Finally, a Zealot coming out here for Crazy OP. The Templar Archives is down. We got another cannon coming down as well. Looks like they've mined out the back ramp here to go ahead and take this mineral only. Xiaoyi has not mined that mineral, or those mineral patches out just yet. Turret's going to be down in time. Plenty of time for the Dark Templar, so should be able to defend against those. We do have a Stargate coming down, though, so we could maybe be seeing carrier tech after. I think Xiaoyi has just thrown so much away to the cannons, too, that they may not be prepared for carriers. And yeah, the fleet beacon is going down now. Another SCV being offered up to the cannons. Nothing mining at the natural, so the natural is ready, but like I think there's some sort of overreaction to these cannons going on here, where it just keeps wanting to send workers out right now. Oh, just sending all of the vultures there to their death at the hands of the cannons. And really, I think these Dark Templar could just come in, clean up this little bit of defense. Now there is one coming in. Unfortunately, only one attacking the turret. If the turret falls, now there's nothing to save that one Marine in the bunker. That Marine is going to fall. There's another turret here, but really there's just not enough to hold this back. So while the first carrier is warping in, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to see the Golden Armada quite get in here and clean this up. But yeah, I think there's just a huge overreaction to the cannons being out front, causing a lot of worker deaths that were not needed. Xiaoyi just down to the one worker now. And Crazy OP is going to go ahead, clean this up with the Dark Templar. How many Dark Templar are there? There's like 6 Dark Templar. They do like 40 damage apiece to buildings. Dang, that's a lot of TPS. It's a lot of deeps. Some Zealots coming in to join the fray here. Every Terran building is on fire at the moment. And then with as these final buildings fall, Crazy OP is going to go up 1-0. And game 2 of the series has us on the same map. We've got Crazy OP spawning this time as the green Protoss, and Xiaoyi spawning as the red Terran. We've got same positions, same players. Let's see if we see the same thing happen again here. If we get the same sort of overreaction, the same play from Crazy OP. And I had to double check, like, yes, this is a different game. This is game 2. The player colors are indeed different. Xiaoyi doing a check of the base for any sort of proxy shenanigans. The barracks is being thrown down here, and now we've got the scouting SCV. We do have the pylon here, so that has been spotted. Looks like we are getting a worker being sent out. And yeah, I think we're gonna just see basically the same game again here. This worker got here maybe a little bit earlier, about the same time, so I think this it's gonna knock. Oh, it doesn't even knock that cannon down this time. So the probe ends up winning the fight a little bit earlier there. But yeah, now we have a worker and a Marine being tossed at these cannons. And really, this cannon placement shouldn't be a big deal for Terran. You know, you should be able to like just take your natural. There's a lot that you should still be able to do off of this, and so it's a little bit unfortunate to see Xiaoyi get caught up on these cannons and just constantly sending a worker into them. Gas coming down for Crazio, Gateway. Expansion coming down now. And yep, now we've got at least some more of the units kind of building up here outside, but yeah. Yeah, not going for the tanks. Gonna get the detection, but just not gonna have the units into the economy to really do much of anything. Kind of funny, we're getting like almost the exact same game again. Although this time Crazio seems to just be stopping at the 3 cannons, like it did get a whole bunch more cannons last time, so maybe Xiaoyi finds a way to break out of this. Does have some units on the gas, is getting a tank this time. So if they get siege mode, I feel like they have a chance to break this. But they really need to get siege, and it's not researching yet. So this could be a big mistake here for Xiaoyi, just continuing to throw SCVs out there. Has the gas, but just doesn't have the minerals because it keeps throwing those workers away, being stuck on that low economy. Yeah, I mean, there's just not too much going on right now. In this game, a medic is coming out, though. We do have the comsats coming down, so no engineering bay coming out. Templar Archives is on the way. Stargate is on the way. Start up the mineral only is being taken after this was mined out. We have a few more gateways coming down, it looks like, for Crazy OP as well. Dark Templar are started. There is no turret. So it's going to all depend on the energy of this comsat. Also no expansion this time. No natural command center being made. And no units from Crazy OP actually dancing here up at the front. So the game is playing out a little bit different. But now we have the first DT out. A couple more on the way. And we'll see Crazy OP deciding to play defensively this time as opposed to going in aggressively. So some different choices being made here by the AIs. Xiaoyi's worker count looking a bit better this game than it did last game. Still no siege mode. Siege mode is on the way. It's almost halfway. So can be able to defend. We have some units coming down now. No scan coming. There's the scan. Gonna be able to stop the DTs. At least the first wave of them. Not scanning for the second wave. There should be energy left. There isn't. A turret going down now, but it might be too late. A lot of damage being done here, though, right now. It looks like we are going to have a Wraith come out, but the only detection is this one turret, so I don't think Xiaoyi's really going to be able to hold up, losing a lot of workers again. Still just on 70, or 13 rather, while Crazy OP's at 73, was at 73, like 60 workers up. Jeez Louise. So many workers compared right now to Xiaoyi. Trying to take those cannons out with some tanks, but Dark Templar comes out. Now, really, all it's going to take is this carrier coming in here, I think. One or two carriers, and that's going to be the game. Because there just isn't enough. There's still just one factory production. Only 16 workers. Xiaoyi has a bank of gas, but no real minerals. And yeah, now here's the carrier. Marine DPS, though, is pretty effective against interceptors and can be pretty effective against carriers. That combined with the turret here, the interceptor count, this bunker is doing pretty good. Now we've got 3 carriers here. Will this bunker hold? Maybe needs a second SCV on it. And there it goes, falling. Marines quickly fall after that. No Goliaths, a control tower going down now, though. Now the carrier is going to have free reign in the main, just about. I think there's not a turret anywhere in sight. The only anti-air being the Marines right now. See, I told you this was a different game. First game, Crazio won it with the Dark Templar. This game, gonna go ahead and win it with the carriers. Well played by Crazio, taking a quick and strong, commanding 2-0 lead. Xiaoyi going into game 3, going to be fighting for survival in this elimination bracket. Well, not survival necessarily, but to survive in the winner's bracket, not get knocked down to the losers. Final buildings going down here for Xiaoyi. 14 carriers on the field. 90 interceptors between them all. Very strong game from Crazy OP there. Let's get us into game 3. Now for a little bit of a change of scenery, we are on La Mancha for our third game between these two. We've got Xiaoyi spawning as the yellow Terran up at the top right. And we have Crazy OP spawning as the teal Protoss down in the bottom right. And so I wonder where Crazy is going to go ahead and place their cannons. It could probably just place outside the natural again. And probably elicit that overreaction from Xiaoyi, but we'll see if that is what happens. Got the in-base pylon down for Crazio here, and this scout is out. They also have to find Xiaoyi too, so this is a 4-player map, and it looks like they are. Oh, there was the one first pylon, or I can't speak. The first probe already out and had scouted, so Crazio knows where the opponent is. There goes the SCV. The pylon here was seen, and again gonna try and throw a worker at this, but the probe can kill that SCV in time. Need to pull like more than one. If 2 were being pulled, it would probably actually stop this. But as it stands, this cannon is going to finish, and this worker is going to have a bad time. Now there is the Marine here that is chasing this probe around. So this is going to get stuck at 2 cannons for at least a little bit. There's another probe coming along, taking a different path. Decides to head back though, as this Marine is actually making its way. Oh, the probe that it was chasing got back, but now the Marine is just going to go ahead and chase this probe around, trying to make it into the main, but Xiaoyi's just going to keep throwing units away here. Ooh, almost picked off the probe there with the vulture, but not quite able to do so. It looks like Crazy being a bit more aggressive, but see, this is also interesting too, because if Xiaoyi could take advantage of it, these are all on the low ground. There's plenty of high ground here where you could park a tank and siege and just kind of clean this up pretty easily and pretty safely, but I don't think this pylon placement is going to allow Crazio to start cannons up on the high ground, but oh, okay, that was an interesting, I think it might have been prioritizing the probe there, which it is going to pick off here. What is being researched? Siege mode is complete. If that tank had not died, could start dealing. Oh, an in base pylon now. Crazy are really trying to be aggressive with these cannons here. Vulture out in time though to sort of push this back, and a cannon. So there is a high ground cannon that can be made with this pylon placement. And now we've got more probes coming in, so Crazy are really committing a lot of resources into this rush here, and Xiaoyi, okay, is going ahead and getting a tank now. So I think that desperately needs it. Wants to build a bunker here, but that's not going to go so well. Now there are cannons here starting up. Seems like the tank might stop these just in time. Literally just in time. Still losing a lot of workers though over here. Oh, making use of that siege mode now. But still putting a tank way too close. Does manage to live though, and it looks like trying to float this command center actually might lose it. Depends. Okay, the tanks do take that cannon out just in time. Xiaoyi might be able to break this, but there are Dark Templar on the way. And the only detection that Xiaoyi has right now is scans. And I think they only have like one of them. Hopefully they are repairing the command center so that will not burn down. And now the Dark Templar is here. Like, oh, the SCV slaughter here, though. Xiaoyi down to 5 work fourth. 2 workers. Just threw all of the... Oh! 1 worker left. The worker falls. I don't know if it was trying to, like, complete the building that was here or what happened there, but, oh man, that was not what you want to see from the Terran side of things. Cloak coming in, but it's not going to be enough. Comsat's going to fall. Yeah, these Wraiths are going to kill the Zealot. But maybe this Dragoon, but they're not going to have any other ability to really stop the Dark Templar. And free builds the control tower immediately. Yeah, with that, Crazio will proceed to round 2, the round of 8. Well, Xiaoyi is going to drop down into round 1 losers bracket. Okay, Crazy OP does come back for one of the last 2 buildings. And then behind this 2, of course, Crazy has expanded a couple of times, so run it on 4 base. And then there is still the science facility down here. Carrier comes around to clean that up, though. Again, with that, Crazy OP will move on to round 2 of the winner's bracket, with Xiaoyi dropping down to the loser's bracket. And our third matchup for the day, we have Beta Star spawning as the Teal Protoss on the left spawn of Tau Cross, going up against Mcrave Z spawning as the light blue Zerg, the light blue on the ice tile set in the top right corner. So we've got ourselves a little Protoss versus Zerg action here. Beta Star going for that fast expansion, it looks like. Tossing down that pylon there, up at that natural. Gonna go ahead and scout in the right direction as well. I lost... Oh, okay, here's the Overlord, unfortunately, for Mcrave Z. Mcrave Z. Scouting in the slightly wrong direction, but not doing a Zerg scout, a drone scout just yet. Wow, okay, I don't know what's going on with my mouth to brain to mouth right now, but it is not functioning properly, apparently. Forge is down, sees the spawning pool about to finish, keeping an eye on when those Zerglings are going to start to pop down. Does have to throw down those cannons. Now, just to be safe, the natural for Mcrave Z is coming down, and actually I don't think that Beta Star has seen that just yet. Zerglings are going to go ahead and chase this probe. It's not quite going to go down into the natural to see what is up, but the Zerglings are going to go ahead and head towards the other base here. I think Mcrave Z has at this point. Yeah, there's the Overlord. Has poked into that main scene that there's nothing there, so gonna kind of poke in here, sees the gateway, sees the forge, 2 cannons, knows that those Zerglings can't quite get in there. Natural is coming up here for Mcrave Z. Starting to get a drone there, getting the lair, and Beta Star just getting its gas, so we'll see if Beta Star's gonna go for Sair Tech. This probe's still alive, just the 1 Zergling. Actually, 2 Zerglings kind of chasing it, but that second Zergling can't quite get into a position to attack it. Drones popping up here. 20 workers each, pretty good for Mcrave Z. Doing some good droning here. And now we have the Spire starting up. So Mcrave Z is going for that Mutalisk tech. Is that range? Range is on the way for the Dragoons. Looks like we are not going to be seeing Sarah tech. We're just going to be seeing Dragoons, which has me a little bit worried with Mcrave Z going for this Mutalisk tech here. Probe still being chased around. We've got our Zerglings dancing around outside the base. Overlord wandering into dangerous spots here. But I think it's like out of vision for a little bit, so Beta Star isn't quite committing to it. Mutalisks are almost out as... Or actually, there is a pack of Mutalisks out here as Beta Star is going to come to the front. A little bit worried, but I think there is enough time to get the Sunkens needed while these Mutalisks go to try and hit the front. They need to start putting some damage on these Dragoons that are separated, though. Yeah, these Sunkens doing their job of holding that army back. Now, coming in here, there are some cannons up, though, which is good defense. It could be picking off some units here, and they're just really not engaging. A little bit surprised by that. Really needs to try and pick off the couple of units while they are like separated from the army. Really missed a chance at making this army smaller. Now engaging though with the support of the Sunkens. Doing a pretty good job so far getting that Queen's Nest so it can go ahead and get up to that Hive Tech, but it's still just on 2 bases. And there's a pretty decent Dragoon force here. This Mutalisk Cloud is pretty scary, but it's like not... It's 12 Mutalisks, but it's not really engaging anywhere. Like, there are definitely spots here where it could be picking off some damage, taking out some pylons, but that one Sunken does fall, needs to start replacing it, I think. But here comes the Mutalisk Cloud in. It's just one shot and then backs off. Could be doing a lot more damage with those Mutalisks, but this Dragoon here, it's low health. It does get picked off by the Sunkens. Mcrave Z not replacing. It actually does take a third. I did not notice down at the bottom here. So, okay, Mcrave Z is on the 3 bases, which is definitely good for it. Going ahead and replacing some of those Sunkens now. This Creep Colony, though, taking a lot of damage, gets destroyed while morphing, so I don't know if the resources were returned or not. It's hard to say. I don't quite remember how that mechanic exactly works in that situation, but we do have a 3rd base for Beta Star. I almost said Star Wave or something, I don't know. But, yeah, Beta Star's 4th base, though, going to fall. Perhaps taken not the best base when your opponent has Mutalisks. This base has been found, though, by Beta Star, and they are going to go ahead and dive on it. So a little bit of a base trade here, which I think is going to work more in Beta Star's favor than Mcrave Z's. Nice attempt at burrowing the drones here, but I think there is somewhere maybe an observer. Either that or just unburring them, oops, a bit early. And I think I did something to break the replay. I think when I dragged this production tab, yeah, I did something that broke it. So give me just a second to see if I can fix this. Okay, hold on. Sorry about that. Now, question is, where were we? So, and whoop, whoop, whoop. That was a little bit too far. Here we go. This is about where we were. I will try not to do it again. So what I did was I clicked on the like one of these image icons and dragged it over onto the thing, which messed it up there. But we are back. We have Mcrave Z still pretty solid there, and actually able to get some Sunkens. I like that. Getting the hatchery back and getting Creep Colony and Sunkens back. But I think things are starting to snowball out of control here for Mcrave Z. A few Sunkens placed up maybe a little bit too far back, but not quite enough here, I think, for Beta Star to break this. The Mutalisks really need to start engaging a bit more here if Mcrave Z is going to push this back. I think Mcrave Z has enough, I think, to really, like, take these cannons down very quickly and could wreak havoc, but the Mulisks do need to be at home right now to keep everything alive. Mcrave Z's worker count getting pretty low here with having to replace all of these Sunkens that keep getting destroyed here by Beta Star. But if this base is able to get back up and operational, that could really help Mcrave Z. But yeah, when these Mulisks get involved, man, these Dragoons, like, they just melt. Now, it looks like Beta Star is going to go ahead and dive in here. Mcrave Z's going to take that opportunity to sort of explore with these mutas, but it's just not taking the opportunities it has to pick off some army when it can. And now this second natural base is going to fall here. And Beta Star is going to redivert back up here to this top right. Yeah, there's just way too many. Mcrave Z's not producing anything anymore. Which, the Mulisks are all back home. It looks like the drones are kind of freaking out a bit. There's still an extractor down here. Did get the hive, but didn't really get any hive tech except for the increased Zergling attack speed. And I'm gonna come down here, clean up the last extractor there, and gonna go ahead. Oh wait, oh, there's another extractor over here. Okay, yeah, and then that was it. So that will be game one, going in favor of Beta Star. And jumping into game two here, we have Mcrave Z, which I forgot to mention in the first game, the 13th ranked AI here in the tournament, spawning as the green Zerg on the desert tile set here. And we have Beta Star spawning as the teal Protoss, the number 4th ranked, I think it is. I will correct myself on the next game if I have that incorrect. So it looks like we're seeing similar build here from Beta Star. The fatal flaw for Mcrave Z, and that last game was just the refusal of those Mutalisks to really engage with anything from Beta Star until it was knocking on the front door there. So hopefully we see a bit more aggression from Mcrave Z's Mutalisks. You know, maybe, you know, they could have easily taken out the cannons that were there. There were enough Mutalisks to take those cannons out really easily. I think maybe they're just a little bit a little too calibrated, or calibrated too conservatively. That's what I was trying to say. It looks like cannons coming down already, sees the spawning pool here, but it looks like, okay, I was gonna say we're seeing just drones, but we are seeing a couple of Zerglings now. Coming out of Mcrave Z, the extractor on its way, almost finished, natural, being started up here by Beta Star. So nice, strong, fast expand here. Second base for Mcrave Z will be up online pretty soon here. We've got the Ling scouting out here. So the Overlord scout at the bottom right base did not find anything. The Lings are going to go ahead and check this top left base, going to go ahead and find nothing. And so the ultimate conclusion is that the bottom left base cross spawn is where Beta Star is. So cross spawn is going to be, I think, a bit interesting on this 4-player map here, because it's quite the distance for Beta Star to cover, especially on this map, because it's not exactly a straight shot. You kind of have to go up, and then you can either just keep going up like that, or you can go around like that, like this. So there's a couple different ways that Beta Star can choose between, right, to take, and that gives a lot of different lanes that you might have to cover and or watch to see if your opponent is approaching you now. Mcrave Z is going to go ahead and take the... Nope, it's going down for this natural here. And there goes the hatchery. While the spotters... I don't know what's going on today as I'm recording these. My brain is just jumbling everything together, but we've got the Spire on the way. Couple of creep colonies coming down, which will be morphed into Sunkens as needed. Dragoon out. This Overlord, it's like freaking out. It's like, oh, I don't know where to go. I'm getting hit with plasma balls, and it explodes. So it did not quite get out of there. But that's alright. No supply block on Mcrave Z. Mcrave Z doing pretty well with the worker count right now at 22. Going ahead and chasing that probe around. Beta Star doing well for themselves too at 31 workers here. Keeping that probe production going. We've got the Mutalisks on the way. And last game, it was right about now-ish. Actually, no, it was a little bit later. I think Mcrave had like 9 Mutalisks out on the field by the time that we saw Beta Star go ahead and start to do a push. And here comes and the production tab there was looking about the same at this as the last time. And now we have the Dragoons marching across. We're going to have 4 Sunkens this time at the front instead of just 3. And will these Mutalisks engage? No, it looks like they're going to stay that conservative route here. Although, oh wait, they do find a spot here while those cannons are still morphing in. They could have... or that's a pylon in one cannon. Like, there could be so much damage happening here. Like, this whole mineral line could just be obliterated. And these Mutalisks, they just don't... They just won't dive in. Just do it. Kill this cannon. Kill the probes. You can do this. Oh, it's so heartbreaking to see. And we have Beta Star here knocking on the door. Here, putting some damage in. Not going to quite be able to break this yet, but we'll put some harm in. This base hasn't been found just yet. There's a little engagement from Mutalisks there on the Dragoons, but just, yeah, it's just, it's so conservative with the Mutalisk usage here. It's just so unfortunate to see. Gonna try to swoop in here, but cannon's already done, so not gonna attack there. Gonna see a Dragoon and just run away from it. Oh man, it hurts. It hurts to see it, because nice catch on the probes there. On that transfer, Beta Star is down to 39 workers right now. See, that's how now actually engaging with the cannons here. This is what we want to see. Taking out probes. But it's just so late. Like, that damage could have been done so much earlier while the Dragoons were, like, all the way over here. And instead, the Dragoons were in position to essentially push that back. Mutalisks now heavily damaged. Many of them are not quite able to get in there. Only 6 alive. So, I think that dive coming just a little bit late. Could have come a lot sooner when it was just this... Or when this cannon wasn't here and approached from, like, this angle. That cannon now rebuilt. Dragoons just kind of dancing. Drone getting caught trying to transfer. Are a lot of Sunkens here. Mcrave Z trying to drone up a bit. I think needs a few more Sunkens down here too. This base does get found, but Beta Star not quite diverting their attention yet. Looks like they are sending an occasional Dragoon out that way, but not too many. These Zerglings are kind of dancing on this high ground and not really adding much at the moment. As Beta Star's actually taking a rather roundabout path to get over to the base here. Maybe these Zerglings are serving a purpose then, but they are going to go ahead and move out a little bit, take a shot, and then just go ahead back into their position. Beta Star looks like they're bleeding a unit every now and then to these Sunkens, trying to poke in and see if they can do anything, and then poking out. But Mcrave Z doing a pretty good job of holding on, but right now it's doing nothing but making drones. It does have Hive Tech going ahead and getting a couple, getting a macro hatchery while taking this main. So... it's doing a lot better with Beta Star not diving into that second base at the moment. Does lose 1 Sunken, but has plenty more there. It has some nice Zerglings that if they need to, they should be able to dive in on those Dragoons and sort of help push them back and just absorb some shots that the Sunkens can work their magic to. 1 more Sunken falls here, though. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, what tech or when is the unit explosion from Mcrave Z gonna happen? They're on a clock, kind of. They need to get that out soon. The 4th base coming up for Beta Star. Oh, and here's... oh, if these Zerglings would just dive on this. There's nothing there. Go, Zerglings, go. You can do it. They... just dive in here. There's a completely unguarded nexus. You could just deny this base. No, they pull back. Instead, they help clean up a couple of Dragoons here. That 4th base, it looks like, is going to get up and running online for Beta Star. I'm actually not 100% sure if Mcrave Z had seen this or not. It is odd that there's no workers here at the moment for Beta Star, so it might have been seen. Good dive coming in here for Beta Star. Just 3 Sunkens there now. We do have defilers coming out here. So let's see, Consume is being researched at the moment. And there's not a lot of army. Oh, they're like kind of clogged up here. Something happened where this probe like stopped. And now there's just this huge traffic jam. I'm a little bit worried though if Mcrave Z uncorks this traffic jam here. Oh my. Both of these AIs having a few control issues here, but Mcrave Z really getting an opportunity here. They're very high on the minerals and the gas. We do have some Dark Swarms coming down here. Now, good denial of this base. This traffic jam does get unclogged, so there are a lot of Dragoons. 57 Dragoons on the field, but 57 Zerglings for Mcrave Z as well. I think this base is going to get denied here. There are a lot of Zerglings. What are the upgrades at right now? We're just at 1-1 for Mcrave Z, and it looks like we're just at 1-1 for Beta Star. Beta Star trying to stem this tide, but looks like wisely not shooting at the Zerglings that are protected under Dark Swarm. Gonna be able to surprisingly hold on to this base here, and now we've got this large force trying to press in here, but a lot of Dragoons just falling to this Dark Swarm, but now a lot of Zerglings falling as there's not an additional Dark Swarm for them defended her, but now one does get on top of some of the Dragoons, but they're able to spread out here. This is pretty wide open. The Defiler gets picked off. There's another Defiler out in play. They're going to throw down a Dark Swarm. I think we're going to see a small, like, repeat, sort of, but they're getting in on these Sunken Colonies. So the Sunken Colonies can't damage the Dragoons here under Swarm, but they're going to be pushed back out. It's almost looking like a TVZ where Swarm is just used to push back the Terran army. Mcrave Z is able to just keep up a lot of production here on Zerglings with the amount of hatcheries that it has here at the main. It's also producing here at the natural, doing some damage here on this base, but the few it's sending at a time just not enough, and pushing the Dragoons back pretty far here. Beta Star's running out of resources, it looks like. Only has the 1 mining base at the moment because this one keeps getting hit and losing the Dragoons. 31 workers to Mcrave Z's 74. We could have our first not 3-0 series here if Mcrave Z's able to take this. Swarms everywhere. Zerglings just having their way with these Dragoons. And again, the upgrade's still just 1-1 for, actually no, 3-3 on the way now. 2-2 snuck in there somewhere at some point. And now Mcrave Z diving in on like the next to last mining base here. Even some Mutalisks joining in, but the Mutalisks aren't going to really be able to damage the Dragoons when they're under the Dark Swarm, but the Zerglings will be able to rip them apart at that point. Another Swarm coming down here, protecting the Zerglings from the cannons. They're able to get in here. We've got a stream of Zerglings coming into this mineral, or it's not mineral only, but this only mining base left. Now Mcrave Z working their way into the main here. And I think with this, the Mcrave Z Swarm has struck. And I don't think it is necessarily due to this, but I will note, in this game, the Mutas actually did dive on a base that had cannons. And Mcrave Z won the game. I'm just saying. I don't know if that's the cause, but that was an exciting game 2 here. Mcrave Z tying it up 1-1 with Beta Star. Can Mcrave Z pull an upset on the higher seeded Beta Star? Well, we can only find out. We're going to game 3. And jumping into game 3 here, we have Beta Star spawning as the blue Protoss on the left of Heartbreak Ridge, our first 2-player map in this series. We had a 3-player map, then a 4-player map. Now we've got a 2-player map with Mcrave Z spawning as the brown Zerg over on the right side of the map. And one of the things to point out here is that there is no second main for Mcrave Z to take the natural of. So we'll see what or which of the bases here that Mcrave Z plans to go for its third base. And we do have the fast pylon here, the scout. Well, it's not fast, but you know what I mean, like it's out in the natural pylon for the fast expansion. Spawning pool coming down here, so it looks like 9 pool from Mcrave Z. And what are we going to see here from Beta Star? I'm imagining both of these AIs are going to do sort of the same builds, but what it's gonna come down to again is execution, and will the Mutalisks of Mcrave Z commit to assaulting anything of Beta Stars other than just what's at the front dealing with Sunkens. There's also a nice wide space here for a lot of Sunkens to be placed, so I expect this to be pretty decent defensively for Mcrave Z, and then it really just depends on where they choose to take their third. I actually think this base might not be so bad, or this one all the way over here, because there is that little tiny choke to get into it, right? The choke here is a little bit wider, though that does afford maybe for a few more Sunkens to be able to be put up. It would make it tricky, or it also gives more surface area for the Dragoons to be able to fire on those Sunkens. So we'll see what Mcrave Z tries to go for here. And the probe, of course, going to live for quite a while, running around, probably until the Mutalisks pop out. Blair is on the way. The first Zealot about to be out for Beta Star here. Got the core, the second gateway coming down. More drones coming out here for Mcrave Z. Actually, I had on workers there for a moment. Spire is started. Okay, it's gone for the third base up here. Nice little drone circles going on there for Mcrave Z. Mutalisks on the way, and then I think when this goes down to like 3 Mutalisks in the production tab, we will see... Yep, that's on cue. Beta Star does the move out right then. The timing lines up pretty well. They're both sort of playing single player up until this point, and now the Mutalisks making a beeline here. There's tons of space. You could take this... Oh, that Dragoon could be eliminated. That Dragoon could have been eliminated. But the Mutalisks right now being a bit passive. The rush distance a little bit shorter, so this Sunken Calling taking very heavy damage before the Dragoons are repelled. And again, the Mutalisks just being very passive, very docile right now. Not firing a single shot on anything that I have seen so far. Up there, they do pick off a probe. Looks like Beta Star wanted to go ahead and take a third base, but that got denied by those. One Sunken does fall. Another one gets placed, but oh, there's just so much here, and the Mutalisks aren't here to help push this back. There's no Zerglings. There, one Mutalisk is trying to join in. Here comes the cloud of Mutalisks now, and they're going to be able to push this back. I was very close if the Mutalisks didn't actually come. I think this would have been a Beta Star win. But yeah, now this is the kind of aggression you need from these Mutalisks. Just dive in there, take those shots. Loses 2 Mutalisks without 3 Mutalisks without them firing any shots there. Picks off the probe. Yeah, taking a lot of damage without really dishing any, but does get the opportunity to get the Sunken line back. And Beta Star still stuck on just 2 bases. Might get this probe out now, though. There is this burrowed Zergling here that's going to be a bit of a problem. Meanwhile, the Dragoon's not quite engaging with this. which is smart. There are a lot. They're actually, with the Overlords, able to fire on the Dragoons without the Dragoons seeing them. So I think these Sunkens are going to get a lot of shots off before the Dragoons would get any off. And looks like the probe that was there either backed off or got killed. There's something shooting somewhere, but I'm not sure what that was about. And again, these Mutalisks could just dive in on this production at any time, start doing damage to these pylons, start taking them out, but just not firing off any shots yet. Now, I'm kind of wondering where Mcrave Z is going to go ahead and take a fourth. We've got some Dragoons trolling around, just making sure there's no other bases for Mcrave Z. Mcrave Z getting that hive tech. Pretty soon, the Defiler Mound's going to be started. Evolution Chamber is on the way. No upgrades yet. Flyer Carapace, though, is researched. Oh, and the space gets found. There's only 2 Sunkens there. That's not going to be enough to hold this third, but the drones are able to escape through that back path. So that's very nice usage of that path. You won't see a lot of AIs utilizing that, but here Mcrave Z taking that path, knowing that that's the safer route to go. Beta Star leaving the extractor there for now, turning its attention on the large sunken wall that is here. It's unfortunate that Mcrave Z only invested 2 Sunkens there. Probably could have, if they had created another like full line of Sunkens, I think it would have been able to hold that off. Now there's enough Dragoons here that they're just diving in. And really with this A move, I think this is going to be it. The Mutalisks are off picking off probes. They're not at home helping defend. I really needed to pull those Mutalisks back, but I was going to say, interesting choice if Beta Star pulls back here. Really just needs to, I think, charge forward. As long as those Mutalisks are not home, there's no reason for Beta Star to like pull this attack back. And now marching into the main, going to go ahead and clear this. And yeah, I think the 2-player map really worked against Mcrave Z here. Just did not get the Sunkens that it needed to defend that third. Tried to get to that hive tech. The Defiler Mound actually finished somewhere. Oh, there it is. So almost got the Defilers into play, but not quite able to do so in time. And there's still this this Mutalisk cloud here, but the main is now falling. We'll see where the Mutalisk cloud ends up at the end of this match here. So far, still right there. There's still the thing here. So let's just check out the army tab real quick. That's 18 Mutalisks that are only picking off a probe every now and then. Really could have done a lot more with those Mutalisks than what they did get used for. The last building falls, and Beta Star very commandingly there comes back 2-1. We'll go into game 4 here, where Mcrave Z will be fighting to stay in the winner's bracket. And starting game 4, this is a different game. The player colors have swapped. We now have the brown Protoss Beta Stars spawning on the left side, and the blue Zerg Mcrave Z spawning on the right side. We'll see. Hopefully this game plays out differently for Mcrave Z here, where they just didn't get enough Sunkens on that last game here at the third base. We'll see if the same thing happens here, or if Mcrave Z is able to turn this around. Beta Star going for it. Looks like the same play here. Not surprising, going for that fast expand against Zerg, which has so far mostly worked in its favor. Scouting drone, gonna dance around the base for a while. Knows everything that's going on there. Drone coming out to the natural, gonna go ahead and plant itself. Drone chasing the probe around right now. Zerglings on the way though. They will take over drone chase, or probe chasing duty rather. Not quite getting any hits off on it though. There's still a drone chasing it too, which is a little surprising. I don't think that was happening last game. But Zerglings, see what is out here. See the cannons, see the gateway, see the forge, all that good stuff. Natural coming up online for Mcrave Z right now. Goons on the way. Spire on the way. Like I said, we'll probably see Beta Star do its move out when there's 3 Mutalisks. After the first Mutalisks start to hatch, when there's 3 left in the production tab, we will see Beta Star go ahead and move out. Mcrave Z taking the same third base that it took last time. Really hoping it gets more than just 2 Sunkens this game. Here come the initial Mutalisks. Probe still dancing around. Mutalisks do pop out. Probe gets picked off. 3 in production, and there goes Beta Star's army. Well, the Mutalisks are picking off some drones here. Doing a little bit of damage. I'm liking that. Maybe being a little too conservative against the Dragoons here again, but now diving back in here, maybe gonna take some hits on those probes. That army count is growing. 11 Mutalisks right now. That's pretty scary force, but just not managing to do enough damage here, dancing around this outer edge and now falling back. Mutalisks coming back to help out here. Diving in on the Dragoon balls. There's some damaged Dragoons here. Could pick some of those off. Now diving in, the third able to get up a lot faster this time for Beta Star. Mcrave Z gonna pick on this base, able to take out the cannon. Now diving in on some cannons, taking them out. This is the kind of play that Mcrave Z needs to do here. Needs to do some damage with these Mutalisks. Doing a little damage and keeping that Dragoon army at home and actually respecting the fact that these Mutalisks are out on the field. Meanwhile, Mcrave Z is droning up, and unfortunately it looks like just the 2 Sunkens here at this third. Oh, if the Mutalisks could just dive on this 4th base again. They are picking off some probes, though, getting some juicy probe kills. They are going to dive. See, they 2-shot cannons, but they're so afraid of the cannons sometimes. It's just why. The army was starting to pull back, but they're going to find this third here. This mineral patch not quite mined out yet. But will those Dragoons poking? There's few drones running. This third base, though, being picked apart. But Beta Star, after that initial pullback, diving back in maybe, sensing some blood here. Gonna go ahead and take out the Sunken, take out the second Sunken. And the Mutalisks, again, they're not cleaning this up. They're not, like, finishing off the buildings. They're not working on probes elsewhere. All while this third base falls, they could have come back and helped defend that or done something, but there's still definitely better usage overall this time. A 4th base up for Beta Star. Yeah, Beta Star trying to do a little bit of work here, but there's a lot of Sunkens and a lot of Zerglings, and even with losing this third, starting to get reestablished, Mcrave Z has now kind of entered the phase where it just mass produces Zerglings. Gets another evolution chamber, or that might be its first one actually. The Filer Mound hasn't been started yet, but it has sort of entered the Zergling macro mode. It just doesn't have Swarm and Consume to help it, and these Mutalisks, again, they're doing damage. They keep killing workers at this third. Beta Star's only at 39 workers, while Mcrave Z's at 45, despite losing the third, which is now back operational. There's the safe back path here that is open. So I think I was worried about what these Mutalisks are doing. I feel like they could be doing more. But it feels like things are, as the game drags on, it's more and more going in Mcrave Z's favor. Still worried about there only being 2 Sunkens here at this third, but this Dragoon army is not as scary as it has been in past games. And I almost wonder if there's like something where it's like, okay, I won, be conservative with the Mutalisks. Okay, I lost, be aggressive with the Mutalisks going on with Mcrave Z. Because it's really been kind of like night and day. With how they have acted after a loss versus how they have acted after a win. And now we've got the Swarms coming down here for Mcrave Z. We might be seeing our first game 5 here as the Defilers fart out the orange clouds that protect the Zerglings from the Dragoons. The Zerglings getting a little bit spread out, but there's so many Zerglings in production right now for Mcrave Z. Even just off of 3 base, the ability to produce Zerglings is just crazy from Zerg. Now this base is going to get overrun even without any of those orange clouds. Swarm's going down in the middle against the main Dragoon ball here. Now the Mutalisks diving in, getting involved a little bit, but backing off. They can't be protected by the orange fart clouds. More Swarms going down. But unfortunately, the unit's kind of going outside of the Swarm a bit here. But now the natural being overrun here. This bottom left base, for whatever reason, Mcrave Z seems to be kind of scared to touch this base. Now we have the Zerglings rushing in here. And just all that looked in sync for a second. It almost looked like I sped the game up, but I didn't. The Zerglings just tearing apart the main here now of Beta Star. 90,000 APM from Mcrave Z apparently, but takes it to 2-2 for game 5. I'm hoping we see the Mutalisks of this game more than we see the Mutalisks of game 3. Let's go ahead and get into game 5. And so game 5, the deciding game of this best of 5 between Mcrave Z spawning as the white Zerg at the top of the map, Beta Star spawning as the yellow Protoss over in the right side. So we've got close spawns on Python, which I think is like one of the shortest rush distances when you get close spawn. Plus, oh, it's such a short distance for the Mutalisk, so we'll see if Mcrave Z is able to take advantage of that or not. Here we do have a probe going ahead, scouting up here. And scout around, gets into that loop around the base. We're seeing a fast expand here from Beta Star. And it looks like we're seeing the same build from Mcrave Z as well. Like I said, it's been the same build each game, but just it all depends on the execution by the AIs. If, you know, we'll get into that stage for Mcrave Z where it just mass produces Zerglings and fart cloud generators and just overwhelms Beta Star. This could be quite the upset based on seeding if Mcrave Z is able to take this game. The Zerglings are out, but the cannons are complete for Beta Star, so Beta Star looking pretty safe here. And Mcrave Z here dancing out and about. Not sure. Yeah, the drone sounds are kind of quiet. They might not actually be getting picked up by the by my recording software here, but again, I think we're going to see so the lair finishes, then the spire starts, and then I think we're going to see the Mutalisk start, and then when there's 3 in production is when we will see Beta Star move out. Because like I said, they're both kind of playing single player up until that point, right? And like they have their builds timed like well, that seems to be where it lines up every single game, which is just kind of neat in my opinion that seems to happen. Only 2 Sunkens out right now for Mcrave Z. There's not a long distance, so I'm a little bit worried about there only being 2 right now. These Dragoons don't have far to go to get there. The Mutalisks are on the way. I'd love to see the Mutalisks just like pound on this gateway. It's so open. Now you do see there were the 3 Mutalisks. The army starts to move out, but now they're going to come back because these Mutalisks are able to get here very quickly, and they're able to sort of hold that army back. But Mcrave Z knows that army is coming, getting 2 more creep colonies, morphing them into sun colonies, trying to kind of buy time with these Mutalisks, but they're being really passive again. They need to just dive in there, start taking shots on the buildings. And actually, the Dragoons could just do a run by here with where these Sunkens are placed, but there's enough Dragoons, they're starting to take out, but now the Mutalisks forced to come back and help defend this. And yeah, they're leaving them maybe a bit prematurely here. A lot of fire going down on those. Like I said, these Dragoons, they could just run right past if they wanted to. And Mutalisks forcing this back a little bit, but then they just decide to go back in. Now the Mutalisks doing a dive on the main. Yes, this is what I wanted. I've wanted to see this for quite a while in these games here. Oh, just like one more hit on the cannon. When you had more of them, there was like 1 hit away from killing that. Now they do have a 3rd established here. Right now it's only 2. Hasn't been found yet. No observers yet for Beta Star. Gonna start taking out a Mutalisk there. Diving in on these Sunkens again. There's like this... The thing with Python is this is such a wide open area too that like Beta Star is just able to get a nice arc, get a lot of damage going on these sunken colonies. There's just not enough to defend this. Where are the Mutalisks right now? There's only 5 of them. Hive has started, and now the Mutalisks diving in here, but this is really hurting Mcrave Z's worker count. We've seen some games where it's gone higher than Beta Star. There's 2 Dragoons here. Gonna find this 3rd. But right now, really just down to 18 because it has to keep constantly throwing drones away to make these Sunkens. So it's really hard. It's really cut into the Mutalisk count now, and it's... Mcrave Z's economy is just so small right now, and I think it's in part just because this wide open space on Python really gives Beta Star just so much space to put Dragoons to fire in on these Sunkens. It's still clearing more out. 23 workers, going up a little bit, but... And Mcrave Z is really struggling here, and Beta Star continuing to hammer into this natural here, actually getting a kill there instead of a cancel on a creep colony that had just been placed. Now the natural being overrun. Again, there's only 5 Mutalisks and like 13 Zerglings. And Mcrave Z has minerals and gas, but it looks like if when that natural gets killed, production just kind of comes to a halt. Now there is a Zergling. And another Zergling. Some more Zerglings and some drones. Okay, so it's sort of kick-started itself again, but... That's just the shooting gallery on those drones. Beta Star looking really strong, wanting to avoid that upset here. Now that high falls. One drone hatches, but then immediately falls. I find it interesting how Beta Star just leaves like that last extractor there. Edalisk's just dancing. Not hitting anything, not doing anything. And there's all these creep colonies, but not... actually, there's the money to morph them, so... Not exactly sure why they aren't morphed, but yeah, Beta Star's gonna clean this up. Now it just needs to clean up the... this extractor here, and that will be it for Beta Star. Moving on to round 2. And Mcrave Z put up a good fight, took us to our first Game 5 of the tournament, but just not quite able to cinch it here on Python, dropping down to the loser's bracket. Round 1, GG. Let's get into our last matchup for the day. And for our final matchup of today, we have the number 5 seed spawning as the Teal Terran up at the top right of Benzene. Halpon going up against the 12th seed in this elimination phase, the Yellow Zerg Steamhammer. So we've had a PvP, a PvT, and a PvZ. Now we get a TvZ. So we've got, like, I think that's every iteration of different race matchup that you can have, and one of the mirror matchups so far in this round 1. So it's been kind of cool. This top half of the first round, just the bit of variety that we are getting. I mean, Protoss was in like 3 of the matchups, but you know, actually no, we have. Yeah. We've had every non-mirror matchup in this cast, and one mirror matchup. So pretty cool. Looks like we are getting a bunker rush, but the bunker is outside of the natural, and there is a proxied barracks here. There was a drone scout. I don't know if it saw this barracks or not. But Steamhammer's going to have to deal with this bunker that's here now, and it looks like they are going to dive in, but there are a couple of SCVs that can repair, and just throwing Zerglings away there to that bunker is not what you want to do. Going ahead and getting some more Sunkens here. Another bunker going down. We'll see how much Halpon really wants to commit to this bunker rush. Now, there's going to be enough Sunkens here that this one barracks play isn't going to be enough to kill it, but if Halpon just sort of macros up behind this and does a normal build and delays Steamhammer enough, I think Halpon might have this in the bag. So far in all 3 matchups that we've had, the higher seed has moved on. So we'll see if that trend continues here. Factory on the way. So it looks like Halpon's going to go into that sort of mech play that we see from a lot of Terrans. I don't think there's any like true SK style Terran play in the AI scene right now. Any that do bio tend to mix in tanks into their bio play. Which I think is somewhat understandable, because bio, it can be a bit more fragile at times than mech. In the beginning, mech is maybe a little bit more fragile. Like these 2 forward bunkers are giving plenty of time here. It wants to plant down a hatchery, but it can't because it's in range of these bunkers here. And now there is a vulture that can sort of chase these down. If it stays out of range of that, of the Sunkens. Now we've got a second one that reams brave and goes into it. But oh yeah, there's this vulture finds a nice little spot, or it could just sit and stop all mining. Doesn't even need to kill anything. Can just stop mining there all day. Vulture is taking some hits here, but tanks are on the way now. Is siege mode. What's being researched? Vulture speed actually is being researched here. Link speed is done. Drone's starting to get... I wish I could see the kill count on these vultures. They're just wrecking the Zerglings and the drones right now. Drone's trying to move out to the natural here to take it. And yeah, Steamhammer just kind of getting stuck. Does have two, though. Getting the lair. Getting Hydras, so we'll see if it goes for Lurkers, which really Lurkers are not the best choice against Mech. See a wave of Hydralisks being down here. It doesn't look like Lurkers. It looks like Hydra speed. Now there's two tanks here. Natural being taken for Halpon. So great way to use this bunker rush to like jumpstart your mech, right? Because now the Zerglings, the opponent can't get past these bunkers, can't get its natural, and you're just sort of safe to tech up into mech, and then just sort of shell away at your opponent here. And now there's no more Sunkens, no money for Steamhammer, 8 workers, but they can't get on the mineral line, being picked apart by these vultures. Interesting choice to siege there, Mr. Siege Tank, but with that, Steamhammer will GG and give game 1 to Halpon. Very quick game. Let's go ahead and get into game 2. Game 2 sees us on Tau Cross with Halpon spawning as the brown Terran up at the top right. And in the cool blue color, we have Steamhammer spawning as the Zerg player down at the bottom. The cool blue color because of the ice tile set. So we'll see if Halpon does the same sort of proxy bunker or proxy barracks bunker rush, and it looks like that will be what we see here as this SCV go. Well, maybe not. It's going to go for a wall instead, it looks like. So not quite the proxy play from game 1. We'll see if this different strategy will work out for Halpon. We do have now the barracks going down. This is kind of a weird spot for a wall because your Marines are going to appear down here, and I'm not sure how Ling tight this is. I don't think bunker up top is Ling tight. But I'm also maybe thinking of like the Zealot rules. Actually, no, bunker on top might be Ling tight, I think. I'm thinking like Zealot, how like depot to the left is not good with Zealots. Depot to the right is what you want. So actually, I think this is Ling type, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm pretty sure that's Zealot type. Top and to the right are Zealot type. Either way, there is no Marine made, so this wall can just be under attack by these Zerglings here. And actually, they could be doing a lot more damage to this barracks, costing a lot more for repairs. But they want to attack the SCV here that they can't seem to reach, so looks like this wall will keep Halpon safe at the moment. This takes even a tiniest bit of damage as SCV goes ahead and repairs. First Vulture is now, or actually the second Vulture is now out on the map. Looks like we are upgrading Vulture speed. There's a lot of Zerglings here at the door, so Halpon doesn't quite feel safe bringing these Vultures out just yet, but they could sit here and fire out at the Zerglings. But if the and the barracks launches and the Zerglings are in the base now, how will these... There are 4 Vultures, though. Oh, and one of them gets caught up on the factory here. I think Halpon can handle this. The question is just how much damage will Halpon take? There's still 3 Vultures out, though, that are good. Vultures taking a lot of damage, some of them, but I think 1 or 2 did fall. Command center going down amid all the craziness. SCV popping off, giving each other some hugs, and then going back on. Being chased off it. It's taking some damage. Meanwhile, the vultures are off chasing. Spider mines are being laid now. Yeah, the natural ends up being denied by those Zerglings, and now going ahead and just taking the second base out on the map, as opposed to trying to retake that natural there. And there are a couple of SCVs out here. One gets into Scout and is then promptly chased around, but not attacked and killed, and still in there. Halpon still just going up. Okay, now this is going to say still just going with the vultures. Then a tank starts. Armory just about finished, so we might start to see some Goliaths here. But Steamhammer is in a much better position this game than it was in game 2. We do have the first tank sieges going on. So Halpon wanting to be aggressive here with these tanks. And yeah, now able to shell over the wall. The making and canceling of that sunken was pretty funny to see, but it's because they lose, I think, 100 health when they switch to a sunken from a creep colony. Mutalisks aren't out. There aren't any Goliaths out just yet. Halpon run down another starport rather. Getting some turrets, but no mobile anti-air yet, so not going to be able to continue to push. The push does fizzle out, thanks to those mutas and lack of Goliath. Do we have Charon boosters? Charon boosters do not appear to be researched just yet. Nice burrow on the drone until it was safe. Cleaning up some mines with the Mutalisks and Overlords. Pretty smart usage there of those two units. And what's the army right now for Halpon? There's just 4 vultures. It looks like something... Okay, there is a Valkyrie, and now another Valkyrie. Something feels very off for Halpon out here, really banking up the minerals and the gas, just not producing out of these factories. This Hydralisk is able to get on top of this second base here for Halpon. The Vultures don't want to engage with us. Hydralisks understandably slow, but the Hydralisks quizzically just like back off when the Valkyrie arrive, even the Valkyrie can't touch them. Here we go. Now Halpon starting that production of Goliaths. Starting to get an army again. Queen's on the way for Steamhammer. We seem to have ourselves here a bit of a fight going on. This base here again under assault by these 3 Hydralisks here, picking off SCVs as they try and repair this turret. And now Halpon just abandoning the base as it's getting overrun here. There is a small detachment of units over here. Like, Halpon's army just seems a little bit disjointed here and not really together. And really with a mech army, like, you want it to be together. Now the tanks are, again, though, the surprise Hydralisks from behind. Again, shelling on this front, but Steamhammer's army feels a little bit light too for some reason. Like, it feels like Steamhammer should be able to have more than they do. But they've teched up to Hive here. These drones trying to leave and then just burrowing. Yeah, it's... Halpon looks like they're going to come out on this one, and I'm just not sure exactly why. Maybe Steamhammer decided to tech a bit sooner than it should have. Because I feel like Steamhammer should have just had more stuff. Like, for the workers that it had. Like, it just never got a very large army to sort of just deal with the army of Halpon. Like, Halpon went almost with almost no army for a chunk of this game, but still managed to stay alive. It is now clearing the natural here. Is now marching into the main here. Looking like it's going to take game 2 here. Valkyrie clearing out the overlords. While the Goliath work on the same. The way that Halpon, and inherited this from Ironbot too, it just attacks, I think, the building that has, like, the highest health on pure number, and so they just keep switching their targets. There's just a few mines over here. Poor Goliath that wandered over here that got picked off by this Ultralisk and a couple of Hydralisks, but yeah, Halpon just cleaning up here the main. The building's all falling at about the same time here with the split damage that it's doing. Gonna go ahead and move over to the left. A ton of minerals and gas banked up. Like, the army of Halpon is oddly small as well. Only up to 140, only taking 2 bases. Ended up not taking its natural. We have an infested command center here, but we don't have any infested Terrans. That's... Aw, man, we almost saw infested Terrans, I think. I don't think it ever produced any. We might have to, like, rewatch this from when that gets infested. Let's just see if we see any infested Terrans in SSCAIT. I don't think I've seen them be used before. I mean, to be honest, they're not that great of a unit. They're not like Banelings and explode and deal damage when they die. And there's something left here. What is left? Oh. Oh, hey, there's an infested command center there. Here. Ha ha ha. Huh. What building is left? I don't know. It can't possibly be the infested command center that I was just looking at. But with that, I think we hit the 5-minute timeout on no kills. I'm going to confirm, but I'm like 90% sure that Steamhammer won, or sorry, no, that Halpon won this game. Just based on what the kill and score and all that would probably look like. I will confirm, though. We'll update when we start game 3 of this matchup, but when did this get infested? And we're there. It's low, it's low, it's low. Infested. Oh, it infested while there was a comsat being made. That's funny. Let's see. Does anything get produced out of this? Oh, wait. Back it up. We did have infested Terrans. I didn't notice it. And the production queue. It's gonna make one. Get an SCV kill and that. Doesn't make any more. Is this gonna flash yellow again? Now at this point, Steamhammer's base is getting destroyed, so it just doesn't have the resources to... Interesting, too, that Halpon doesn't attack this. I would guess that this is... And it's trying to, like, return resources to it or something. Oh. Where's this going? Where are you going? Where are you going? I got picked off. Oh, I'm sad that this didn't play a bigger role in the game. Yeah, and then Steamhammer just doesn't have the resources to make anything out of it again. Yeah, I'm not sure what the SCVs like coming up on this are. So my guess is that this is like a renegade event when this gets infested, and Halpon probably just doesn't handle that happening, and so it just doesn't see this as an enemy building, and so therefore doesn't attack it. But kind of cool to see that happen and see a couple infested Terrans in an AI game, which is something I don't think I don't remember seeing in any cast. So very cool. Let's go get into our game 3. 3, 2, 1, cut. And starting our third and possibly final game, if Halpon is able to take a win, as that game 2 was decided in Halpon's favor. Of Halpon spawning as the Teal Terran over on the left side of Heartbreak Ridge, going up against Steamhammer spawning as the Blue Zerg over on the right side. So, will we see infested Terrans again? And maybe playing a larger role in the matchup. Would be pretty cool, but we do have 2 that could just be going to make a wall. And it looks like that is indeed what's going on here. They're just... Although, maybe an extra worker got pulled there for that. 1 more than was needed. We'll probably see Depot here and a Rax down here. I think it makes a link tight wall until you build a refinery here or something. I know there's some weird stuff with these geysers. Sometimes they block while they're not built on, and then once you build on them, they no longer block. So, a little bit of strange things there. Looks like we are going to have some Zerglings on the way here. A couple running across right now. This lifts. Ooh, scout going out, and it lands just in time. But the SCV panicking wants to go back in. It's like, no, let me back home. Okay, I got away. Oh, I want to go back home. This needs to be repaired. I don't know if Marines can get back on the inside, but it looks like Halpon goes without the Marines. That SCV that was on the outside does get caught. Unfortunate for Halpon here. Halpon has repair SCVs at the ready, but man, Steamhammer really could be costing Halpon more minerals than it is. Vulture pops out, Machine Shop on the way. Now this Vulture getting some shots off here from the other side of the wall. Mine's finished now. Mine's being laid. Oof, that Marine ate, or that that Zergling ate that mine there. And vultures are out front. Now we're having, what's being up now? Siege mode. And, okay, look, I thought this was spinning too for some reason, but it is not. So just siege mode. Lurkers on the way though for Steamhammer this game, which I don't think we've seen yet from Steamhammer. Generally, Lurkers, though, not the best choice against mech. A very large Hydra Force can be good, though, against it. Yeah, these Vultures doing a really good job of just picking off Zerglings, keeping that Zergling count low. Oh, it looks like actually we are getting a Spire, so we researched Lurker aspect, but we're also getting a Spire now, so... Gonna be interesting to see what Steamhammer does with that Spire. And now the tanks are here, shelling away at the Zerg. Oh, able to just walk in here. Oh no, but these are going to morph into Sunkens now. The tank's just right in range. Kind of a silly situation to see there, but... Oh, all the drones here just got eliminated. The worker count for Steamhammer just 2. So Halpon is going to take this game 3 very strongly. This wall, though, with this now being a bit of a problem to get units out. Okay, so they are going ahead and clearing a depot to be able to get out easier, but it will make cleaning up this base a bit faster. So while this cleanup is... Well, we'll let this cleanup happen because... I'll do the wrap up after this here. The SCV's even getting in on the action. We'll take care of this extractor. Oh, there's drones, run away, and now we'll come down here and help. Oh, and Steamhammer is going to go ahead and tap out, give the GG to Halpon. So Halpon will move on to round 2, taking this series 3-0, and Steamhammer will drop down into the losers bracket. So with that, we have completed the first half of the winners bracket round 1, where we saw Stardust take Mad Mix P 3-0, Crazy OP continue over Xiaoyi 3-0, Beta Star and Mcrave Z giving us our first game 5-game series, with Beta Star taking it 3-2, and Halpon coming out on top over Steamhammer 3-0, setting up round 2 with Stardust versus Crazy OP and Beta Star versus Halpon. And if we take a quick look here at the losers round 1 and how that's shaping up after this cast, we have Mad Mix P going to be going up against Xiaoyi, and then Mcrave Z going up against Steamhammer. So what we've seen so far in this round 1 is that the higher seeded AI is continuing on, but the lower seed can sometimes take games off the higher seed, almost taking the series there with Beta Star and Mcrave Z. So our next cast is going to be the rest of the winners bracket round 1, where we'll have Monster up against Microwave, and then Ironbot going up against Purple Wave, Banana Brain up against Willie T, and Dragon up against Chris Cokes. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate your viewership, your supports. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed what you watched today. And we'll see you again next week. So until then, take care, everybody.